Please do sit down, Miss Bennet said, and the siblings took their places side by side on a comfortable, if shabby, settee.
Fitzwilliam purchased a copy of Evelina for me 2 days ago,
Georgiana said to her friend, which provoked a sparkling look in Miss Bennet's fine eyes, along with a question.
Did he?
Have you had a chance to read any of it yet?
I have read at least half of it.
And? What do you think? Georgiana wrinkled her nose and said,
It is overly dramatic, is it not?
Miss Bennet laughed and nodded. It is, but in a rather Shakespearean way. Shakespearean, Miss Bennet, Darcy interpolated. Surely not.
Oh, but it is.
Not the cadence and the style, of course, but missing heiresses and villainous nobles and switched infants. It is certainly not like normal life. A book based on the normal life of a family would be rather dull reading, do you not think? Darcy suggested. Miss Bennet tilted her head beguilingly and said, I think that a book about quite an ordinary family could be interesting, because even the dullest person outwardly is complex inwardly. I have not found that to be true, Darcy asserted. In my experience, dull people outwardly are dull inwardly as well. At this juncture he noted that Georgiana was staring at him with more than a hint of distress, and he felt his face heat. My apologies, Miss Bennet, I did not mean to start an argument. It is quite all right, the lady replied with a grin. I would term it a debate instead of an argument, and I enjoy such repartee, but I'm aware that not everyone does, including perhaps Georgiana.
I do not, the girl confessed. I always imagined that people who are debating are angry with one another.
Well, I am not angry in the least, Elizabeth Bennet answered with a reassuring smile. But by all means, let us change the subject. Have you decided how much longer you will be staying at Ramsgate?
We will be leaving tomorrow,
Georgiana said regretfully. We will be leaving also, Elizabeth said.
Oh,
Georgiana exclaimed,
I thought you were planning to stay longer.
We were, Mrs. Gardiner said, having returned to her knitting, but the children and I have fully recovered our health, and my husband misses us all. Moreover, a letter arrived yesterday from Elizabeth's father, asking that she hurry home. Georgiana regarded her friend in surprise.
Your father wrote that he wishes for you to return, not your mother.
Not my mother, no, Miss Bennet replied. I am one of 5 daughters, as you know, and I am the least like my mother and the most like my father. He loves his books and his library, as do I, and my mother enjoys parties and visiting. Thus she relishes the company of my sisters more than me.
I am sorry,
Georgiana replied sympathetically. Oh, do not pity me. I am confident that my sisters do an excellent job bearing her company, and I am pleased that my father finds me such a pleasant companion. What kind of books does Mr. Bennet enjoy? Darcy asked. What does he not enjoy? The lady responded with a chuckle. His library is large for the size of the estate, and there are very few topics which are entirely ignored. Does he own Newton's Principia, perhaps? In both Latin and English, Elizabeth replied with dancing eyes. I tried dipping into the English translation one rainy day and found it incomprehensible.
What is Principia?
Georgiana asked timidly. It is a book on physics by Sir Isaac Newton, written more than a century ago, Darcy answered. It is certainly most complex. Yes, and while I am adequate in maths, I do not particularly enjoy them, Elizabeth said. I am far fonder of novels like Robinson Crusoe.
Would that not be remarkable,
Georgiana said,
to be shipwrecked on a deserted island?
Remarkable and uncomfortable. Indeed, I fear I would run out of food quickly. Darcy sat back and watched and listened as his sister and Miss Bennet chatted cheerfully with one another. He found his eyes continually straying to Miss Bennet's piquant countenance and decided to allow himself to drink in her beauty without guilt. He would not see her again, certainly, and thus there was no harm in enjoying her bright cheer and liveliness one last time.